They never come at you with knives in the open. Your real enemies don't scream in your face. They don't declare war. They don't even look like enemies. They smile. They laugh with you. They celebrate your wins on the surface. But deep down, every success of yours cuts them like glass. Every step forward you take feels like a step backward for them. And so, they hide. They wear masks. History tells us the most dangerous betrayals never come from the outside. Julius Caesar wasn't killed by invading armies. He was stabbed by Brutus, a man he once called his friend. Every empire, every dynasty, every circle of power is destroyed not by its rivals, but by those sitting closest at the table. And you are no different. The people you let closest are the ones who carry the sharpest knives. The people you call friends may secretly be enemies in disguise. They don't attack when you're strong. They wait, they watch, they smile while you climb higher, and then they strike when you're most exposed. Society teaches you to look out for enemies. That advice is useless. The truth is darker. You don't lose sleep because of strangers. You lose sleep because of betrayal. It's not the man across the street you should fear. It's the one sitting beside you, nodding, pretending, hiding his envy behind a mask of loyalty. And if you don't learn to see through that mask, you'll always be the prey, the one blindsided, the one stabbed in the back while wondering, how could this happen? This video will rip that blindness away. I will show you the psychological blueprint of the fake friend, their envy, their tactics, their timing, their betrayal, and most importantly, how to turn their poison into your power. You will learn the subtle cracks in the mask, the slip of the tongue that reveals their resentment, the false compliment that hides an insult, the sudden silence when you win. This is not entertainment, this is survival. Because fake friends are not just inconvenient, they are predators, parasites, thieves of energy, opportunity, and peace. They destroy not with open war, but with slow poison. By the end of this, you will no longer be the victim. You will no longer be the naive one, blindsided by betrayal. You will see through masks. You will hear the lies behind the laughter, and you will never be caught off guard again. You are about to cross into forbidden knowledge, knowledge that will shatter illusions, knowledge that most people are too weak to face. But you are still here, and that already makes you different. Now, let's begin. They don't come to you with claws, they come with smiles. They don't wear the face of an enemy, they wear the mask of a friend. Carl Jung called it the persona, the mask each person wears to survive in society. But the fake friend turns this mask into a weapon. Their mask isn't just a social necessity. It is camouflage, a disguise that hides envy, resentment, and weakness. Think about it. The people who hate you openly, they're harmless. At least you know where they stand. But the one who hides their envy behind exaggerated loyalty, that's the one you should fear. A fake friend survives by performance. Their words are carefully chosen, their reactions rehearsed. They laugh louder than necessary. They congratulate you with too much energy. They flatter you, but underneath their voice trembles with envy. You've seen it before, but you didn't have the courage to name it. The mask cracks in small ways, a moment of silence when you share your success, a slight twitch in their smile, a compliment that feels more like a cut. That's not clumsiness. That's resentment leaking through the mask. Society trains you to ignore these signs. Don't overthink, don't be paranoid, everyone makes mistakes. That's the lie that keeps you blind. The truth is that the human face cannot fully hide what the heart carries. Micro-expressions betray them, slip-ups reveal them. Every mask eventually cracks, if you know how to watch. History shows us this pattern over and over. Consider Brutus. To Caesar, he was not an enemy. He was a friend, a loyal confidant. The mask of friendship was flawless until it wasn't. When Caesar looked at him in his final moments, he didn't see a soldier or an assassin. He saw the mask ripped away, revealing the envy and ambition underneath. Et tu, Brute, was not just a cry of pain. It was the recognition of the mask shattering. You have lived this in smaller ways. That friend who laughed a little too hard when you failed. That ally who spread rumors under the guise of concern. That person who said, "I'm just being honest," right after cutting your confidence in half. They weren't honest. They were hiding behind the mask, using fake concern to disguise their strike. This is how fake friends feed. They survive by pretending to support you, while secretly waiting for the moment you trip. They are parasites, drawing strength from your weakness, feeding on your energy, while wearing the mask of loyalty. You must learn to see the cracks. You must become a reader of masks. Don't listen to words. Watch timing. Don't trust tone. Watch eyes. Don't rely on promises. Watch patterns. Because patterns don't lie. Words can be rehearsed, but reactions in real time betray the truth. The mask slips when the moment is unplanned, when you announce good news, when you win, when you rise. That's when envy pierces through, even if only for a second. Weak men ignore these signals because facing them is uncomfortable. They'd rather believe the mask. They'd rather stay blind. But you are no longer weak. You are no longer blind. The mask of friendship is the first defense of the fake friend. And once you learn to see past it, their entire structure collapses. Their power depends on your blindness. Their disguise depends on your hesitation. The moment you pierce the mask, the moment you stop giving them trust for free, they lose their grip. Understand this. Betrayal does not come suddenly. It comes slowly behind the mask. It comes through 1,000 tiny cracks that you were too blind, too polite, too trusting to notice. But you will notice now, because you know the mask is a lie. And once you see the mask for what it is, you are no longer prey. The mask is only the surface. What hides behind it? Envy. Always envy. Envy is the most silent of poisons. It does not shout. It does not confront. It sits quietly in the heart of your so-called friend, smiling while secretly bleeding. Every time you win, envy stabs them. Every time you rise, envy suffocates them. Nietzsche called this resentment, the sickness of the weak who cannot rise, so they rot in bitterness. They cannot become more, so they hope you become less. They cannot climb, so they pray you fall. Machiavelli warned rulers never to lean too heavily on friends. Why? Because a friend's envy is sharper than an enemy's sword. The enemy attacks in the open. The friend waits, feeds, grows jealous, and eventually betrays when it costs you most. Think carefully. How many of your failures were celebrated in silence by those around you? That friend who said, "Don't worry, you'll get it next time." But his eyes flickered with satisfaction. That ally who called your success lucky, trying to reduce your achievement to chance. These are not slips of the tongue. They are daggers, small, disguised daggers. Envy always reveals itself in small cracks. The false smile, the hollow cheer, the backhanded compliment. You're doing great, but don't let it get to your head. That "but" is the sound of envy grinding its teeth. History is written in the blood of envy. Cain killed Abel not because Abel wronged him, but because Abel's favor exposed Cain's mediocrity. Joseph was sold by his brothers not because he harmed them, but because his father's love was greater. Even the story of Lucifer is one of envy, the angel who could not bear the light of another, and so fell in rebellion. You are not surrounded by neutral people. You are surrounded by egos constantly comparing themselves to you. And every step you take forward is a mirror that exposes their weakness. Envy is not passive. It seeks balance. If they cannot rise, they will drag you down. The fake friend hides envy under loyalty. That is why they are dangerous. Their flattery is camouflage. Their kindness is theater. Every "I'm proud of you" hides the whisper of "I wish you would fail." The weak man ignores this. He tells himself, "No, they didn't mean it. I'm overthinking." And so he walks blind into betrayal. He refuses to accept the poison, and so the poison spreads. But you must see what others refuse to see. Envy is not harmless. It is corrosive. It corrodes loyalty, corrodes trust, corrodes the bond itself until only resentment remains. Why do fake friends secretly want you to fail? Because your failure soothes their pain. It proves to them that the world is fair again, that they are not falling behind, that you are not special after all. Your pain is their relief. Your loss is their victory. That is the truth you must accept. The people who smile at your success may secretly toast to your downfall. You cannot eliminate envy from the world. It is too ancient, too human, too wired into survival. But you can weaponize it. By seeing it early, by reading the signs, you stop being the prey. You turn their envy into evidence. You use it as proof that you are ahead, proof that you are rising, proof that you are becoming what they could never be. Understand this. Envy is the engine of betrayal. It is the silent poison that fuels the mask. Ignore it, and you will be destroyed. See it, and you will be untouchable. And once you see envy clearly, you will never look at friendship the same way again. The mask hides their envy, but envy alone is not enough. To destroy you, the fake friend needs tools. They need tactics. And these tactics are subtle. They don't punch you in the face. They pull your strings in silence. The first weapon is guilt tripping. They plant the idea that you owe them. Every time you succeed, they remind you of what they did for you. Every time you pull ahead, they say, "Don't forget who was there for you when no one else was." It's not loyalty. It's a chain. They're not supporting you. They're enslaving you with emotional debt. The second weapon is sabotage disguised as advice. The fake friend is the one who tells you to play it safe. The one who says, "Don't take that risk. It's too dangerous." On the surface, it looks like care. In reality, it's sabotage. They don't want you to rise higher because your success magnifies their failure. Their advice is a leash to keep you small, predictable, and harmless. The third weapon is triangulation. They pit people against each other. They whisper to you what someone else supposedly said. They whisper to others what you supposedly said. They spread half-truths, small distortions, subtle rumors, until the ground beneath you fractures. Suddenly, you're isolated. You're unsure who to trust. And in that confusion, they stand at the center, appearing innocent, while secretly pulling every thread. The fourth weapon is false loyalty. They perform acts of sacrifice. They make small displays of care, but always when it costs them nothing. They exaggerate small favors so that you feel indebted. But when the true test of loyalty comes, when you're at your lowest, they vanish. The friend who boasts of loyalty in words is the first to betray in action. These are not random mistakes. These are deliberate patterns, and they mirror the darkest concepts in psychology. Gaslighting, making you doubt your memory, your judgment, your sanity. Projection, blaming you for the very thing they are guilty of. Mirroring, copying your words and emotions, not to connect, but to manipulate. History is filled with such manipulators. Think of court politics in every fallen kingdom. Think of Stalin's inner circle, where allies whispered, smiled, and then denounced one another in the shadows. Think of every palace, every boardroom, every empire where the betrayal came not from the battlefield, but from the whisperer at the king's side. Now, look at your own life. The friend who made you feel guilty for succeeding. The one who told you not to chase your dream because they were too afraid to chase theirs. The one who whispered about you behind your back, then smiled when you confronted them. You thought it was immaturity, misunderstanding. No, it was manipulation. The weak man stays blind. He tells himself, they meant well. He excuses the trap even while standing in it. But you will not be weak. You will not excuse the tactics of the parasite. See them for what they are, manipulators, controllers, masters of subtle sabotage. And once you see the tactics, their power ends. Because manipulation only works when you don't know you're being manipulated. Betrayal doesn't come out of nowhere. It follows a blueprint, a sequence, a design as old as power itself. It begins with admiration. Every fake friend starts here. They look at you with respect, sometimes even worship. They admire your strength, your ambition, your fire. But admiration never stays pure. In the weak, admiration curdles. It turns into envy. From admiration, they slip into envy. At first, it is silent, hidden behind the smile. But envy cannot be contained forever. It grows like rust, slowly eating away at their loyalty. They don't cheer your victories anymore. They endure them. They don't feel pride in your growth. They feel humiliation at their own stagnation. Envy evolves into sabotage. This is where the mask begins to crack. Small comments that undermine your confidence. Are you sure this is a good idea? I don't think people really like you as much as you think. They disguise poison as care, but the effect is the same. Doubt. If envy is the seed, sabotage is the sprout. And finally comes exposure. The strike. The moment they were waiting for. They don't betray you when you're strong. They wait until you're vulnerable. Until your guard is down. Until you've placed full trust in them. Caesar didn't die on the battlefield. He died in the Senate, surrounded by men he called allies. Brutus waited for the perfect moment, when Caesar's trust was total, when resistance was impossible. That is the betrayal blueprint. Wait until the victim is blind, then strike without mercy. This is why betrayal feels like a knife in the back, because it is never random. It is always calculated, planned, timed. Look at modern scandals. The business partner who empties accounts right before the company goes public. The politician betrayed not by his rivals, but by his advisors. The celebrity exposed not by strangers, but by their closest circle. The pattern never changes. The strike always comes from inside. And here is the truth that will chill you. The blueprint is not rare. It is universal. Every fake friend, whether conscious or not, follows it. Admiration, envy, sabotage, exposure. The cycle is written into the psychology of weakness. The weak man ignores this cycle. He calls betrayal unthinkable. He says, "I never saw it coming." Of course he didn't. He refused to look. He refused to admit the pattern. But you will no longer be blind. You will see admiration not as pure, but as the beginning of potential envy. You will hear sabotage not as concern, but as a rehearsal for betrayal. You will prepare for exposure before it comes. Understand this. Betrayal is never spontaneous. It is engineered. It is systematic. And once you know the blueprint, you can see it forming long before the knife is drawn. That is how you stop being the victim. That is how you become untouchable. Betrayal is pain, but pain can be fuel. The weak collapse under it. The strong rise because of it. You've been stabbed in the back before. You've felt the burn of trust turning to poison. And in that moment you thought, why me? Why would they do this? But the truth is simple. They betrayed you because you were rising. Betrayal is not proof of weakness. Betrayal is proof of strength. Machiavelli wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved. Why? Because love breeds envy. Love breeds betrayal. But fear commands respect. Fear cannot be faked. The moment you stop begging for loyalty and start commanding respect, you stop being a target. The first step is cutting ties cleanly. Weak men drag betrayal with them, like chains. They hesitate, they explain, they plead. That is weakness. When the mask falls and the betrayal reveals itself, you cut without hesitation. No long speeches, no dramatic goodbyes. Cut and move forward. The second step is psychological distance. Betrayal only destroys those who cling to illusions. You must stop needing people to be loyal. Stop needing everyone to be a friend. Accept that envy will always exist, that betrayal will always be possible. When you no longer demand loyalty, you cannot be destroyed when it fails. The third step is using betrayal as proof of ascent. No one betrays the weak. No one envies the invisible. Betrayal is a mirror reflecting your rise. The more they hate you, the higher you are climbing. When Caesar was betrayed, it was because his power had reached its peak. When Tesla was sabotaged, it was because his genius threatened the world. They weren't betrayed because they were small. They were betrayed because they were too great to ignore. So reframe betrayal. Stop asking, why me? Start saying, of course me. Of course they envy you. Of course they want you to fall. It is the tax of greatness, the price of climbing higher. Society tells you to forgive, to forget, to soften your heart. That advice is poison. Forgiveness without distance is weakness. Forgetting without strategy is suicide. Power is built not by erasing betrayal, but by weaponizing it. Every betrayal is a lesson in disguise. It shows you where the cracks in your circle are. It teaches you who is real and who is parasite. It hardens you, sharpens you, and forces you to become untouchable. Understand this. You will not become powerful by avoiding betrayal. You will become powerful by transforming it, by turning the knife in your back into armor on your chest. From now on, betrayal will not break you, it will mark you. It will separate you from the weak, from the naive, from the blind. You are not their victim, you are their mirror. The proof of their envy, the proof of your rise. This is the shift. You are no longer the one asking for loyalty. You are the one commanding respect. You are no longer destroyed by betrayal, you are defined by it. And once you see betrayal this way, nothing can stop you. You began this journey as the target, the one who trusted too much, the one who believed masks, the one who mistook envy for love and sabotage for care. But that self is gone. That weak, blind version of you has already died. Now you see the pattern. You see the mask of friendship for what it is. You recognize envy as the silent poison behind every smile. You can name the tactics of manipulation: guilt, sabotage, triangulation, false loyalty. You understand the betrayal blueprint: admiration, envy, sabotage, exposure. And because you see it, you are no longer prey. From this moment forward, you become the observer, the one who sees the cracks in the mask before anyone else, the one who notices the silence after your victories, the one who knows when a compliment is a dagger. You are no longer caught off guard. You are no longer surprised. You are untouchable. Most people live in blindness. They walk with daggers pointed at their back, smiling at their betrayers. They are food. They are prey. They are predictable, naive, easy to manipulate, but not you. You are no longer a victim of appearances. You are the one who sees through them. You are no longer desperate for loyalty. You command respect. You no longer need friends to feel safe. You build distance. You build strength. And here is the paradox. The moment you stop needing loyalty, people fear you. They sense they cannot play you. They sense they cannot manipulate you. And in that fear, respect is born. This is what Nietzsche meant when he wrote about the higher man, the one who rises above resentment. This is what Machiavelli meant when he told rulers to choose fear over love. This is what Jung meant when he described the rare soul who integrates the shadow, the one who accepts the darkness, sees it, and masters it. You are becoming that rare soul, unreadable, untouchable, feared, respected, beyond manipulation. Understand this clearly. You are no longer the one who wonders why me. You are the one who says, of course me, of course they envy you, of course they betray you, because you are rising, because you are becoming what they cannot. This is liberation. The freedom from illusion, the freedom from blind trust, the freedom from weakness. And it is dominance. The power to see what others cannot. The power to step into rooms knowing exactly who envies you, who fears you, who will betray you, and to remain untouchable anyway. You have crossed into a higher order of mind. Most will never make it here. Most are too fragile, too weak, too desperate for love. But you are still here. You endured the poison, the mask, the blueprint, and you did not collapse. That is why you were chosen. From this point forward, you are no longer the target. You are the untouchable. Enough. No more blind trust. No more excuses. No more tolerance for parasites hiding behind smiles. The age of weakness is over. The age of illusions is over. From this moment forward, you cut the masks. You sever the ties that poison you. You stop begging for loyalty. You stop asking for love. You stop apologizing for power. This is not motivation. This is initiation. You are crossing a line between the blind herd and the rare mind, between the food and the predator, between the target and the untouchable. Understand this. Most will never have the strength to face the truth you've just seen. Most will close this video and crawl back into illusions. But you are not most. You are still here. And that marks you as different. That marks you as chosen. So, take the step. Cut the masks, live without apology, walk as one who sees through every smile, every lie, every crack. Carry betrayal not as a wound, but as armor. And if you are ready to stand among others who refuse blindness, who refuse weakness, who choose strength, then subscribe, not as a casual act, not as entertainment, but as a pledge that you belong to the rare order of untouchables. This is not the end, this is the beginning of a life where you are no longer the victim of envy, no longer the puppet of fake friends, no longer the naive believer in masks. From now on, you see, from now on, you rise. From now on, you command. The command is clear. Cut the masks.